Well, my friends. Seems like we are live. Hopefully, if you can hear the sound of my voice, please let me know right now. It's a bit sketchy. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. If you can hear me, then I will proceed. So, welcome. This is 40 days to PMP exam success. I know lots of you are studying for this exam called the PMP exam. And you know what's happening with a lot of you? You are like Jekyll and Hyde. You have no clue how to navigate the enormity of content. Some of you are looking at the sixth, some of you are looking at the Agile Practice Guide, and some of you haven't even heard of this thing called the seventh. So you are a little bit confused. Hello, my friend. How you doing? Good to always have our friend from Vegas in the building. Thank you for joining us. It seems as though we probably are live after all. I wasn't sure, but we are live. So lots of you are wondering, what should I focus on? But I want to help you by giving you a remedy for all this confusion. The remedy for all this confusion is my free program that you can find at pmp.pmradio.org. And I call it 40 Days to PMP Exam Success, because I know you can get certified in 40 days if you just follow the curriculum. Now, if you saw the poster for this event, you probably realized that there were a lot of books on the screen. Sixth edition, Agile Practice Guide, seventh edition, Process Groups of Practice Guide, the Scrum Guide, just a lot of stuff. Well, if you follow the link that I provided, you will be able to sensibly navigate this exam. And again, the course is free. It's at pmp.pmradio.org. pmp.pmradio.org. I'm going to put the link in the chat because I know lots of you were not even aware that there was a free 30 plus hour program for the PMP exam. Well, there it is in the chat. When you go there, you will find a video for every single day of the 40 days. All I need you to do is do the homework. It's all there. Okay. I have also included a free ebook that you can go to right now. I'm going to put that ebook in the chat and you can follow along with me as we go through it. This is a very quick meeting, so follow along. Just get the link and you'll be able to see what I am presenting to you. I am presenting to you my free ebook to help those of you who are struggling, who are trying to get out of the crab barrel of PMP. Okay? Well, let's go there right now. On the screen, you can see that I have PMP exam in 40 days. Follow along and let me explain all of these books to you, starting from the very first. So you flip the page over, I've got an introduction that you can read, but the very first book that I have here is the PMP exam content outline. And this is the blueprint on which the PMP exam is based. Okay? The PMP exam is based on the PMP exam content outline. If you go to the link that I included in the chat, you will be able to see this. The very first thing the PMI talks about in the PMP exam content outline is manage conflict. Your exam is going to be filled with these tasks because that's what the PMI is looking for. Back in the day, this was $39.99, this content outline that I'm referring to. But now you can get it for free. Just Google PMP exam content outline and you'll see all the tasks. So the PMI wants you to be able to manage conflict, to lead a team, to support team performance, to empower team members and stakeholders, to ensure adequate training, building a team, addressing and removing impediments, negotiating project agreements. What do you do in a situation where you are the project manager and you need to negotiate? Will you put on your collaborative hat Or are you going to put on your greedy me hat? Well, hopefully you don't have that hat, but PMI is going to find out. PMI is going to find out where you're at. Collaborate with stakeholders, build a shared understanding, engage and support virtual teams. The fishbowl window concept that's talked about in the Agile Practice Guide. Well, of course, the PMI is going to be looking for that from you, perhaps, right? Who knows what they're going to ask you. But I'm showing you all this stuff, my friend, so that you will be hyper focused on the content outline and not the PMBOK guides alone. They are good, but when all boils down to the end of the journey, the PMI is going to ask, do you really know these tasks? Not do you know the 49 processes? Even those are good, though those are good, but that's not what they're going to be asking you. All the questions, majority of the questions are going to be, you're a project manager, this is the problem, what do you do? Okay. And that's why I put this together, because some of you are so scared of processes and knowledge areas and process groups and methods and models and artifacts that you're not really focusing on the most important thing, which is the philosophy, the mindset, right? Because a lot of times people say PMP mindset. The mindset pretty much just boils down to the tasks. So if you are not familiar with the tasks, if you cannot put yourself in I'm the project manager, this is what I'm facing, here's a scenario, what am I going to do? This is what I'm going to do. If you're not thinking about that and you're just beating your head, with PMBOK 6, or beating yourself, knocking yourself out with the PMBOK 7, that's not what I want you to do. So I just want you to take all the quizzes that I've given you in my free course, all of the homework, go over it. The mindset will become more apparent. Again, the link is pmp.pmradio.org. I have over 30 hours of free videos to help you. And I make it engaging, right? You're not going to fall asleep, I promise. It's not like the other courses you've been for. It's free right now. You can get access to that by just going to pmp.pmradio.org. It's right there in plain sight. In plain sight. Okay, so let's jump back in to the rest of what I have to share with you. Going back in here, we talk about engaging and supporting virtual teams, defining team ground roles, mentoring relevant stakeholders, promoting team performance through the application of EI. And then we get into domain 2, the process domain. Now, can I just be really honest with you? Because you are like family. We're PMP family. I know you're getting ready to be a PMP, but I see you as family. We're both project managers. Hey, listen up. If you want to do really well in the process domain, you got to do one thing. And this thing is what your instructors say, well, you don't have to do it. It's not on the exam anymore. Yes, I know. The 49 processes, they're not on the exam anymore. But knowing the 49 processes, the 5 process groups, understanding the flow is going to help you. You know where you can go to get help? I put a link in this document. Let's go back. In this document, if you keep flipping the pages over, you're going to come across, there it is, right here. You're going to come across a link. I have included a link in here so that when you click the link, it will go to this cheat sheet that you're seeing on the screen. This cheat sheet explains the 49 processes in everyday English. Highly advise you to check it out, and you will be glad you did. In fact, you can actually Google it because this is a well-known document now. A lot of people have used this for their PMP success. Just Google PMP cheat sheet, Phil's PMP cheat sheet. It will come up with a link and you can go in there and download it. So let me actually put this in the chat. Phil's cheat sheet. And please don't take it into the real exam. It won't end well. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. Just use it to study. Please don't take it into the test. Okay. It's a free sheet that I have out there to help you. Okay. And let me put that on the screen right there. It's a free cheat sheet. Okay. That sheet will help you understand the 49 processes. When you understand the 49 processes, the process domain becomes a lot easier. Okay. And again, the ebook I'm looking at, I've made that available to you for free. I have taken the money concern off the table. Okay. Just grab the link and you can read it right there online. There's a lot of stuff that I have here, but going into the process domain, you execute your project with urgency to deliver value, to begin to maximize the time factor, right? We're aware of the cost of delay. Managed communications is all about transparency. Assess and manage risk. You got to know the avoid, transfer, escalate, accept, mitigate, share, enhance, exploit. All that stuff, you got to know it. Then we get into the engaged stakeholders. The philosophy is work with your stakeholders, not against them. Plan and manage budget and resources. This is all about chapter 7 in the 6th edition, which unfortunately is no longer in print. But if you go into process groups or practice guide, you want to comb through the 10 processes that fall under plan and manage budget and resources. I hope you know these, my friend. In the area of budget, we talk about plan cost management. Do you know what comes next? Chat into me if you know what is next. What comes after plan cost management? Who knows? After plan cost management, you have estimate cost. After estimate cost, you have determine budget. And after determine budget, you have control cost. So you should know the flow, my friend. The flow is going to help you know where to go on the exam. And then for resource management, you have everything from plan resource management to estimate activity resources. You should know the rest. Acquire the resources, right? Develop the team, manage the team, control the resources, the physical resources. All these tiny little nuances, they are going to help you on your exam. Again, for those of you just coming, we're taking a look at this free ebook that is going to guide you through the terrain, the murky streets of PMP prep, because ain't nobody telling you that there's 6 books, but one of the books is a big kahuna, and the book is a small book. It's the content outline. You got to understand what the PMI wants you to be able to do. All right. So just go over all of these with a fine-tooth comb. Plan and manage scope, integrate project planning activities, manage project changes, all of this stuff. I am not going to bore you with it. But the summary is if you go through these and you truly ensure that you have mastered the concepts, you will have a better chance of success. But for those of you that didn't know, your exam is going to have you're a project manager on a project. Blah, 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 blah happened. What do you do next? If you're thinking remotely, hey, if you are remotely thinking that the PMI is going to say, you're developing a project charter, which process is it? No. If you think the PMI is going to say, you just got a project management plan, which process was that? No. They rarely even use process language anymore on the exam. You will probably get one formula-based question, probably. Now, I'm not saying everyone will get one formula question. You may even get none. Do you see what I'm saying? The most important thing in the SPI, the CPI, the CV, and the SV is actually knowing what they mean. What does SPI mean if it's a 0.9? What does CPI mean if it's a 0.85? Well, it means that you spent $1 and you got 85-cent return on it. That's poor. Management doesn't like that. You're digging yourself into a financial hole. Does that make sense? So when you look through the outline, make sure you're focusing on real world thinking. Okay, how would this question look? Now, for those of you who truly need help, because not everyone does, I know some of you are already on other curricula. I don't want to derail you, But for those of you who are like, I don't know what to do, Phil. I've been trying to get certified myself for the past 6 years. It ain't working. If that sounds like you, I will help you. Maybe you've been trying for a year. You know what you need to do? Go to hpmexam.com. It's that simple. When you go to hpmexam.com, I'm your buddy for life. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you do two things. One, I'm going to help you kill the exam with a violent chokehold. Someone says, Phil, that's violent. You got to be violent or the exam will be violent on you. Some of you ain't being violent. You got to be violent. Got to be violent. Now, I have this big old book that will help you with your violence towards the exam. It's called PMP Exam Immersion. If you join me at hpmexam.com, you're going to get this book. It's 600 plus pages thereabouts with the workbook, because there's this and there's a workbook. So if you're stuck and you're like, I need help, go to hpmexam.com. But for those of you that are, I'm good, Phil, I'm good, I'm all right. Okay, go to pmp.pmradio.org. 30 hours of free video. Okay, so wherever you are, I want you to know that I have a weapon that can help you overcome the PMP exam craziness. It's very hard, which is why I'm giving you this free ebook. Let's go back to the free ebook. So going back to the free ebook, my friends, I have PMBOK 6th edition in chapter 2. I break it down for you. I tell you, this is what it's all about. It's about the 10 knowledge areas, which, by the way, you should know very well, and the 5 process groups, which you should know very well. Please know them well, because when you know them, it makes sense to you. You know what? I want to challenge you, those of you who are stuck. How about you take a real project from your real world, and how about you create a series of scenarios based on the 49 processes? It will greatly help you. Let's turn the page over. All right, we've talked about that. Chapter 3, Process Groups, a Practice Guide. It's pretty much a clone of the 6th edition without the meat that's in the beginning. It's like going to the back of the 6 and taking page 535 to page, 635 or something like that. You got about almost 100 pages, and those pages are now blown out by process groups. So if you have the 6th edition, you don't have to get Process Groups, a Practice Guide. Go into chapter 4, Agile Practice Guide. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm a little bit biased about this book because, should I just tell you the truth? This is my favorite PMI publication. It used to be the OPM3 book and then the Risk book, but those have been replaced with so many other things. So this is my favorite PMI publication, truth be told. It's called the Agile Practice Guide. I like the way the PMI partnered with the Agile Alliance. There's some really great stuff in here. So let's go to the Agile Practice Guide summary in the ebook. It says the Agile Practice Guide by the PMI serves as a comprehensive guide for understanding and implementing Agile to project management. The basics, you've got the introduction, you got the introduction to Agile, definable work versus high uncertainty work. You got to understand that really well. And then you get into life cycle selection. This is a thesis for many a question on the PMP exam. So you got to know if you are incremental. Hey, do you know the difference between incremental and iterative? Very subtle. You got to know the difference. And then agile and predictive, you got to know the difference between all those 4. It is covered very well in the life cycle selection area. And then we get into implementing agile. You got to understand servant leadership, and then things like the definition of ready and the definition of done. Do you know the differences? Do you understand acceptance criteria and how it's different from the definition of done? Do you understand all the minutia that you come across from page 50 forward when PMI talks about backlog preparation? Now, that's not one you come across every day, because a lot of times you don't know where the backlog came from. Well, the PMI, they helped you in the book by telling you where it's from. And then they went further into the intricacies of how they see the roles in Agile. I know lots of folks are used to the 3-5-3 in Scrum, but they haven't read PMI's perspective. And then they get to the exam, and you know what they ask on the exam? People wondering, Why are they saying project manager? They said I'm in agile. Why are they saying you're a project manager in an agile environment? I thought project managers didn't exist in agile. Well, welcome to the world of the PMI and the Agile Practice Guide. You're going to find you are a project manager in an agile endeavor. So you got to understand to replace the terminology. The PMI have a page here in the Agile Practice Guide where they talk about the roles. So let me call out that page for you if I'm able to find it. Because when you get into the exam, be rest assured you're not going to have Scrum Master mentioned a whole lot. And PMI's little bend towards the world of project management and agile is very different. And oh, by the way, cross-functional team is a term that you can expect to see. Just understanding when you do not have a cross-functional team. Let's go to page 41. Page 41, it says cross-functional team member. Well, some of you are used to seeing Scrum team. No, that's what you see in the world of PMI. Product owner is intact, but you have team facilitator. So you need to understand this book and how PMI sees the world of agile. It's a very unique lens. You know, we're called the Project Management Institute, not the Agile Management Institute. So you can expect to see project manager as a theme. Also, you're taking the PMP exam, project management professional. So you got to understand that. Okay. All right, let's go back into the book. We're going to get done here very shortly, going over the next few pieces, implementing agile, delivering in an agile environment, understanding that the PMO needs to be a voluntary thing. We don't push it on people, and also understand that hybrid is a transition mechanism. Also, Kanban is talked about as a transition mechanism. Also, when you talk about Kanban, understand it has a just where you are mindset. We use pull mechanisms. We also talk about the lead time and cycle time. It's all in the book. All right. So that's what I'm summarizing here for you. And then there's a call to action, right, from the PMI, which of course is not exam related, but it's just good to give feedback if you can. All right. Chapter 5. This is one of my favorites. It's the Scrum Guide. The Scrum Guide is one of the best publications ever because it takes the concept of agile and demonstrates it in the document. What do I mean by that? Well, if you take a look at the Scrum Guide by Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland, have you counted the pages? Have you counted the pages? The pages are a fraction of this. This is like 160 something pages. The Scrum Guide is a 13-page document, but there's so much great stuff in it. Let me give you a quick tip for your exam if you haven't already done it. Download the Scrum Guide, open it up in Edge, play the audio, and listen to the Scrum Guide a few times. It will really help you understanding the 353 of Scrum. It will help elevate your game. Even those of you who are certified that have not read the Scrum Guide, you should. All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's scrumguides.org. Scrumguides.org. Go over there and you'll be glad you did, because it will help you truly understand Scrum from the eyes of the co-creators of Scrum. There's a lot of poor representations of Scrum in industry. Read it for yourself and understand what it means. Now, on top of that, I also want to recommend for those of you who have not played with the quizzes that are free on Ken Schwaber's website, it's scrum.org. There are two different websites. I'm going to put this one in here as well. Go over to scrum.org. When you hit scrum.org, you're going to see there's a certification called the PSM. Well, Ken Schwaber has some quizzes to help people prepare for that exam. They are a great litmus test of your Agile and Scrum awareness. So I would highly advise you to go on there, check it out, see how much you can get. If you get in the 80s, you know your Scrum. If you don't, keep beefing up your understanding of Scrum. Okay? So, two websites. Number one, go to scrumguides.org. Download the Scrum Guide, read it. Website number 2, scrum.org, which is Ken Schwaber's company. They have a lot of free quizzes. You know, you're learning from the OG's company. Of course, it's going to be great stuff. You're learning from the source. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, my friends, let's jump back in. So in the world of Scrum, we have a 3-5-3 configuration. 3-5-3 just means 3 roles, 5 events, 3 artifacts, and I break them down in this document here. I also talk about empiricism and lean thinking being what we are resting the idea of Scrum on. The key roles: the Scrum Master, the development team or the developers, and the product owner. The key events: we have the sprint, we have sprint review, we have sprint planning, we have the sprint retrospective. Remember, the sprint is a container for everything else. And the key artifacts: the product backlog, the sprint backlog, the increment, also called PSI, potentially shippable increment. You don't have to ship all the time. If it's not featured enough, you need to wait until it's featured enough. All right, chapter 6. Chapter 6 is all about the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. PMBOK Guide 7th edition has got 12 principles and 8 domains. That's the summary. But in the very beginning, we also have a system for value delivery talked about. This system for value delivery is an interesting concept that shows how projects, programs, and portfolios are woven together, optimized together so that the company can really get value and benefits and the desired outcome. PMI have moved away from just deliverable. That used to be the mantra back in the early 2000s. Not anymore. It's not about deliverable. It's about benefits, value, and ultimately the outcome. So you got to understand the outcome is supreme. The outcome. So some of the principles: we have stakeholder, team, development approach, and life cycle. Domains, I beg your pardon. These are the 8 domains. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the domains, I would say don't spend too much time on them because they're not going to come out as a question uh, title or any question ingredient beyond the knowledge areas. If you've got the knowledge areas and process groups down, you're good. So don't go rummaging for 7th edition trying to read the entire thing. What I would recommend, however, I do recommend the 12 principles, and I'm going to put a PDF in the chat so that you can download PMI's 12 principles for free. It's from the PMI. It's a PDF, and this will greatly help you in your final revision, your final game. All right. So let's put that in the chat. All right. There's the link. Download that, and it will help you in your final game for PMP. You don't have to read the big old document of the 7th, especially if you're time constrained. Okay. PMI also has a very succinct document, the 8 domains, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well because I like saving time. I would rather you spend time going over the videos at pmp.pmradio.org and daily. That's all I'm asking from you, that you just daily hit the information. So let's take that off. And this is the second one, the PMI's free PDF. Like, I'm sharing so much stuff with you tonight. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe. I need you to support this channel. Okay, so hit the buttons, hit the bell icon so you're notified when I come on. I know lots of my friends are asleep in the United States, but those of you in Europe, you're getting up. Those of you in India, you're already at work, right? I know where you are. I know where you're at. I know what you're doing. So my friends in the US, when they wake up, they'll probably see this video, but it's going to be after the fact. Okay, so I've put all those links in there for you. I have also put the link to this document. Again, if you want to join me in studying, I highly advise that you go to hpmexam.com. Thank you, our friend Angel. Thank you, Angel, for joining tonight. You are very welcome. So for those of you who are saying, Phil, I've been trying to get certified on my own. I'm fed up of doing this thing. I want to be with like-minded individuals. I want to get together every Saturday so you can help me, so I can join a study group that is working earnestly towards this. Go to hpmexam.com. And as I said in the very beginning, I have got a program that helps you get certified, but it also helps you. Hey, watch this. It helps you to max out your PMP. I call it life after the PMP exam. And all of this comes under that package right now. So if you go to hpmexam.com, you can cash in on another 10 PDUs after you get certified. After, because PDUs are after certification. So after you get certified, you will be on my Life After the PMP Exam program, where I'll be showing you how to maximize your PMP certification and how to be a real success based on my mentor, John Maxwell's curriculum on how to be a real success. All right, so going down to hpmexam.com, I just put the link in the chat. If this is something that appeals to you, let's go. I'm also going to give you this book and the workbook. I'm going to give you the PMP exam immersion. I'm going to give you the PMP exam immersion workbook. And we're going to work together to not just get you certified, but to get you to kill the game. Kill the game. Your way to fame, I guess. Kill the game. My way to fame was getting certified. I mean, you wouldn't have known me if I wasn't certified. Maybe you're the next trainer in the world of PMI. Just get certified and begin your journey. I've trained everyone from NASA and the FBI. I've found myself on the US Air Force Base in Mildenhall, a place in the United Kingdom. I found myself at Fort Lee, training our men and women in uniform in this stuff. You might be the next trainer. Maybe, just maybe, but you got to get certified first. So get certified and let's kill the game. Thank you for joining me today, my friends. I wish you all the very best. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. I'll talk to you soon.